And we continue our conversation with Grand Chute Town Chairman David Schowalter. Recently, state lawmakers introduced a bill requiring any community wheel tax to be put on the ballot in the form of a referendum, even if you currently have a wheel tax or if you're contemplating a wheel tax. They say it makes local boards more accountable to the people. Tuesday of this week, the mayors of Green Bay, Eric Genrich, and the mayor of Appleton, Mr. Hanna, they came out strongly against that, saying, why are you making us start all over again when we have had a wheel tax in some way, shape, or form for some years now? What are your thoughts on this? I know you don't have one.
Yes, and there's a reason we don't have a wheel tax. It's the dollars that would create in income. We figured the number of cars that are registered in the town of Grand Chute, and at one time, the amount that it would raise was $140,000. With the amount that we assess, that wouldn't touch anywhere near what our roads are. And the reason, Tom, is because a lot of addresses in Grand Chute are apartments. A lot of those people don't even realize they live in Grand Chute, and when they register their cars, they register them Appleton 54913. So that wheel tax goes to the city, even though they know they don't have to pay it. And the other reason the wheel tax I don't think would be fair at this time is that half of our town has already been assessed for new curb, gutter, and so forth, and new streets. And I get phone calls from people that say, you better not have a wheel tax to take care of it because I already paid my assessment and I'm not paying for theirs. Mm-hmm. So we may change that after everything has been, all of our roads have been done once, and when they get redone, we may look at something different for our assessment policy. Instead of individual communities, should this perhaps be a county-wide wheel tax? Well, that wouldn't be the worst either if they wanted to do that. You know, they have a county-wide sales tax that just got passed last night, so 0.5%. Right, the one that Tom Nelson vetoed. Let me ask you about the dark store, Loophole. And for those who are not quite familiar with this is where a retail operation cuts its property tax by assessing active stores as if they were vacant. Mm-hmm. Governor Evers wants to close the loophole. He says it negatively impacts small businesses and homeowners. Your stance on this? Well, I would have to say that Governor Evers is 100% correct, and especially in the town of Grand Chute. The dark store loophole should have been closed years ago, and I feel that our legislators in Madison are accepting money from the Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. They are the biggest donor in the state of Wisconsin, and I believe that what they are doing is they are convincing our legislators to not even get this bill on the floor. I've been to Madison. I wasn't treated very well, and I've talked to Mr. Roth personally. I wrote a letter in our quarterly newsletter that he didn't care for, and I called it corruption, and that's my feeling. So you're alleging a lot of politics behind the scenes on this. There is politics behind the scene, and it's going to cost, and many people aren't aware of what this is going to do. I had board of review earlier this week, and not one person showed up to contest what their tax bill was. Out of 22,000 people in the town of Grand Chute, 3 businesses wanted waivers to go to circuit court to get their taxes lowered. And what they do, if they have a building that they just built that's worth $10 million, they want it reduced to $6 million. Now that $4 million of assessed value, if they get their way, and with the loophole they can, that goes right on small business and on homeowners. And you're going to see this come to fruition. We've been in court ever since this started years ago. Mm-hmm. And yet, as you say, nobody looked at their tax bill, so they wouldn't know that. No, no. But if it hasn't hit your tax bill yet, it will. Let me switch gears to community safety. Grand Chute is interested in building a 3rd fire station. That's correct. It would seem from the outside looking in, the Grand Chute is not large enough for a 3rd fire station. Well, is it? Well, when you say the population of 22,000, yes, the estimate of population in Grand Chute during the day
is 78,000. And that's because of the businesses that we have,
Right.
people and the shoppers, et cetera, that all come to Grand Chute. So in essence, we go by what there's the national fire people, and our fire chief is greatly involved in state and national fire. And they're the ones that tell us you need to have eventually another fire station. We opened about 12 years ago when I first got on the board. We opened our replacement fire station, which is out near Town Hall. It was a $4.5 million fire station. Our last fire station over on Spencer Street was just completed. It could be 4 or 5 years now. Mm-hmm. And the next one we're looking at some sites, and it's out near that mall area.
Okay. Let me ask you about law enforcement in your community. Mm-hmm. Do you think that your police department is properly funded, or as with any community, there's always a need for more?
Yes, and I would say for the size of our department right now, if you ask my fire chief, he would say that we need more, and I would probably say I would agree. Mm-hmm. But what we have right now in our police department, it's one of the top police departments, believe me, in the area. They're well trained. They just do their job. They're just so professional right now that I don't see us adding to our police department at this point.
Because there's no...
They're doing their job. The coverage is adequate. So could they use more people? Yes. I think every one of our departments asks for people every year.
As it probably is in every community.
In every community, yes it is, yes.
We will continue with Grand Chute Town Chairman David Schowalter right after this. Please stay with us.